We're going to bring on our next amazing guest. Let's introduce Terri Johnson. What's up, Terri?
Hey, everybody. Ooh, I'm losing my voice. I'm so sorry.
Oh, shoot. No worries. Well, glad to see you, girl. What I'd like you to do is, not many people know you other than you've been freaking amazing in our free group, in the challenge launch. And you've been supporting everybody there, commenting it up and everything. So they've probably seen your name for sure.
Right.
We love Terri. She's a huge support to us. So, but before you became this, right, an amazing support, let's go back a second and let's talk about
Ooh.
like what was life like before you found me? What were some of the things you were struggling with?
So my story is way different than everyone else's because I didn't want to own a business. I know I never told anybody that.
Yeah.
But I was a preschool teacher and I quit my job because I was working at a daycare center, which I thought it was a good center because this is a center that I sent my children to.
Mm.
So one day I figured, hey, I wonder if they're hiring. So I went to ZipRecruiter and they were hiring. I said, wow, this is amazing. So I applied online and then I took my resume to them. And then when I started working behind the scenes and saw what was really going on, I said, oh my goodness. And I said, and they have been going there for years. So
wow, shoot. They're still okay though, Terri. It's okay.
I'm like, oh my goodness. So as an employee, my son was sick. And they made me come to school because they didn't have anyone to cover my classroom. And he was laying in my classroom on a cot sick. And my coworkers looked at me and they said, well, why are you here? And then I thought to myself, why am I here? So right after that, I just quit. And I was the primary breadwinner. And I didn't know what I was going to do, but I figured God would just make a way for me to find something else. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find daycare. So I quit in December right before Christmas time. And I couldn't, so I would find, let's say, a spot for my son, my oldest, and not for my 3-year-old.
Right.
Or vice versa. I couldn't find a place that would take both of them.
Yeah.
And then the daycare down there, I had them on waiting lists for months and months and months.
Wow.
And I don't remember exactly when I first saw your ad, but it was the ad that that said the difference between daycare and preschool. I wasn't looking for it, but I listened to it. I said, wow, that makes a lot of sense. And I didn't know it was an ad for starting your own business. I just happened to hear what it was about and I just kept rolling.
Yeah.
And then I saw it again. And then I saw that it was a free book. I said, okay, so I got it in March. It was a month. And then I realized that it was a challenge coming up. I said, oh my goodness, and it's free. I'm a sucker for something free.
Right.
So I jumped into the 7-day challenge and I got one student in 12 hours. So I was so excited because I had never done anything like that before, putting myself out there on Facebook. And I was primarily on Instagram at the time. I had only had 200 friends. I thought Facebook was just for old people, honestly. Like I didn't know that people were still, really socializing on there.
Right.
And even now I have 1.5 K followers on Facebook.
Girl.
And I'm growing. My business is also growing too. So I'm just really, really happy that I met you and I signed up for the 7-day challenge.
Yeah.
When I first signed up, it was I'm gonna admit it. I was only gonna stay for like a month, see what I can get, and then get out.
I love that. You're like, I'm going to get in, I'm going to download as much as I can. I'm going to bounce out and I'm going to spend a year going through all the downloadable files. You would never open them.
Exactly. But that's what I was going to try to do.
I know.
But because of the group, and I was never a group person before that, and all of the love and support, I had people in my DMs, giving me inspirational like the motivation type things on YouTube and cheering me on. And I was really just embraced and I didn't want to leave it. And I started with online and then I tried to do local, but it really didn't work out. But I'm putting it out there that I'm going to do local next year.
There you go.
I already said that, so now I have to do it. Because this is in my heart.
Fall, you're going to do local preschool?
Yeah. I'm doing it.
Let me ask you this though. Let's do a little coaching moment. Why haven't you done local before? What was the roadblock in your head, or what still is?
So I did have a local program for some months. So it was from September to May, I believe it
Yeah.
was. I had one student. I had a tour, and I know that you mentioned to have multiple tours at one time. It didn't work out for me. I had two different families, and
Yeah.
one of the families had a son that was just really really busy. He broke my gate and my child gate. And when my husband came home, he was like, "What happened here while I was gone?" And I had to explain that to him, and he had to
Yeah.
buy another one and put it up. So I just kept the one little girl. So
Sure.
the one she got
So you
along.
had one bad experience for a tour and you're like, I'm never marketing again. I'm never doing a tour. I'm going to
Yeah,
do 9 months of preschool with one kid.
I did. So her mom was having a baby. Her mom
Yeah.
was having a baby. So when she was on bed rest. So when she
Yeah.
left to go on bed rest, I just quit. But
Got it.
I only kept her that long because she was a really good playmate for my son.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I
Cool.
enjoyed teaching and he enjoyed having her
Yeah.
over. So
Yeah.
it really worked out. But
Right.
next year I'm going to really I'm gonna do it. Another reason why I didn't want to do it in my house is because I had this really really big hill, and people they don't really like driving up the hill.
Yeah.
So I'm
Can
not
you
sure if
meet
I'm gonna
them
do
at the
it.
base of the hill? They drop off their kid, and as a class, you walk up to the top of the hill?
I was thinking about that, but
Yeah.
I'm tossing it up in the air to see if I can find a location, but I don't know. But I'm still doing local, whether it's at home
Okay,
or
Terry, you
somewhere
got to
else.
name your preschool on the hill. Are you freaking kidding me? It's
It
adorable.
is. It is. Yeah, it literally is on a hill. And one of my power habits is actually walking my hill. So I
Okay.
go every morning, except this morning because I went to the pumpkin patch this morning. So I had to save my energy. That's probably why I don't have any voice because I was out there with the kids on the hay rides and all of that.
Right. Oh, it's awesome. Okay, well, this is awesome. So, um, I wanted to actually share, if you're willing to share it,
Mhm.
you have a unique story. So sometimes we get the highlight reel, right? We get the
Yeah,
highlight reel of like, okay, here's where I was, but now here I am, amazing. But sometimes we don't see the behind the scenes of
it
the
wasn't
ups and
amazing.
downs and a lot of the rough times.
Yeah,
And you were so vulnerable this summer when you came to Phoenix. We did Preschool All Stars Live, and which, by the way, I hope everybody joins us for this next summer. We're going to be doing it again
yeah.
in Phoenix. Terry was there. She spoke on stage. Yeah.
I was the
She's
first one to speak on
That's right.
stage.
Yeah. She's overcoming all sorts of fears.
Yeah,
But you really spoke to, you know, even though we were talking on podcasts and things like that, like to you, and we're talking about your subscription box, because what's crazy is that, like, to you, maybe you don't feel like you're killing it or crushing it or it's not hitting your
yeah,
expectations. But as a leader over here, I'm seeing you leading the community and I'm seeing you do different things like subscription boxes, which you've never done before. And
yeah.
you're actually doing it, and you put it out into the world and you made it happen, you made it real. And that to me was like, that's the vision I want to showcase. Because if someone can realize that, hey, I got this crazy idea, I don't know if it's going to work, but I'm going to run with it and I'm going to learn from
Yeah.
it. But let's Okay, that's kind of setting the stage. But you came to Phoenix Journey and in Phoenix here, and something happened where you were struggling before with marketing, and then everything changed after the Phoenix Journey, where now we have a different
And
story
now I
behind
have chills, but yeah, it really
Tell
had.
us.
So I was struggling with imposter syndrome, and everyone it felt like, I don't know if this is true, but it felt like everyone like looked up to me and thought that I was like this amazing person, and I didn't feel like this amazing person.
Mm,
Like they were, oh my goodness, like your ass, you're so, you're so good at this. And people
yeah,
are in my DMs asking me for advice on how to market, and
yeah.
people asking me to hire them for jobs, even the other day. I said, "Well, how did you find me? I'm looking for people to enroll in my preschool, but you found me for a job on
Right?
TikTok." They said, "Oh,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just searched online preschool on TikTok and I found you." I said,
Nice,
"Okay,
girl.
yes," but I didn't feel like I was living up, or I
Mhm.
felt like I had to live up, and
Yep.
so the more I kept feeling like the pressure of trying to measure up, the more I shrunk.
Mm,
So I had one student for 6 months, and
yeah.
then I put my preschool on Groupon, and
Wow.
yeah, I only had it for a couple of months because I didn't have any takers, but I ended
Yeah.
up getting a sibling. Well, it was a cousin. They were cousins, so the mom paid for her nephew to attend as well. So I had
Cool.
So I ended up with 3 students
Yeah.
online at the end of the school year, and it was
Mhm.
amazing because we had a virtual graduation, and I bought them the cap and gowns, and they had a end of the year box that they got with all type of goodies and stuff in it.
Aw, that's
So I
awesome.
didn't do a welcome kit in the beginning. I wanted to reward the ones that stayed.
Love
So they
that.
ended up getting this really big kit with the cap and gown, and it
Right.
was amazing. I had 3 students, but it was like 30 people that came to the graduation. So
Wow.
that was a lot. So
Yeah.
when I started working on myself probably May. So in May, I started doing exercises to what they call heal the inner child, and I
Mhm.
started to feel like a crack, like a crack in the surface, and I just started just I was so overwhelmed with like emotion. One day, my husband came home. He said, "What's wrong with you?" And I couldn't even talk. I
Mm.
couldn't express like what was going on with me because when I realized like all of these issues that I'm going through are from my childhood,
Yep.
and I felt like I wasn't good enough. I felt like I had to be this person. Even I didn't realize from a kid I felt like that. You
Mm.
know, as growing up as the oldest in my household, I was responsible for, taking care of my siblings. And then I ended up having
Yeah.
custody of them too when I was 20. So I was 20 and
Wow.
I had custody of a 16, he had turned 17, and my 14-year-old sister. So I
Wow.
was always the one in charge, always the one having to do everything. So when it came to having my own, that's why I didn't want to have my own business because I was tired of being in control of everything. I
Yeah.
was for 7 years I took a break from teaching because I was burnt out working in preschools, and I ended up running my sister and my niece's hair extension company. So I did that for
Mm.
7 years.
Yeah.
So I saw the headaches that they had running their own business, and
You're like, "I don't want that."
I don't want this.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
God kept telling me, this is what you're supposed to do. I left the
Mm.
classroom three times, and I kept coming back. But now
Wow.
that I'm here and I'm doing what I want to do,
Yeah.
I learned how to change my mindset. So I had 3 students last year graduating,
Yeah.
and I started this year with 6.
There you
And
go.
and it was because of me believing in myself. And I'm still not all the way there, but I started to really see the potential in myself, and I started to reward myself for
Yeah.
all of the things that I've done. And I actually had to really think. I thought I joined in 21, and I said, no, I joined in April of 22. So this has
Nice.
only been a year.
Girl, holy
And
cow.
I'm so hard on myself. I said, why am I so hard on myself when I just joined?
Mm. Right, right, right.
Most businesses don't take off in 30 days. And I think that's
Yeah.
what I thought. I thought
Mhm.
that because I had the reputation of being a teacher, that it was going to be easy for me to get students because everyone knew I was a good teacher. So,
Yeah.
but it wasn't that way.
Mm.
It just wasn't that way. But I'm glad that when the new sisters came in, I want to say October of last year,
Yeah.
you started introducing the circle of service, and then you
Yeah.
also had that graphic that showed how we go through that the
Oh, yeah. Yep, yep,
yeah,
yep.
I don't know what you called it, but it showed how we're up here when we first start, and then we go
Yep.
down here, and then we go back up, and
Yeah.
that's how I felt, and I felt like something was wrong with me because I was feeling that way. But when
Mm.
you presented it, and you need to make sure that you present it to these new ones too,
Yep,
because
I
it
will.
really helped me,
Yeah.
and also being a big sister helped me too.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that Lisa, she gave me a shout out. I happened to hear that, and I said, oh my goodness, she shot me out. I feel like I'm a celebrity.
In the all-star community, you are. Come on now. Come on.
I know. But honestly, another thing that turns it around for me is not only changing my mindset, but pouring into my sisters.
Mm.
Um, Focusing on what I can fix, and those
Yeah.
little questions that they had, I already knew
Right.
the stuff, so I could fix it. So
Yeah.
I was pouring in, and that's why when the opportunity came to be on the launch team, I was so ready for it because I've had such support. And
Yeah.
I go to support Saturday. That's amazing. It's a very underutilized resource that you need to attend. I ended up getting unstuck a couple of weeks ago, and I had all of these odds and ends sensory bands that I've been selling over the years,
Yeah.
and I didn't know what to do. And Lynette and Quinn and Dawn, they gave me the idea to have surprise sensory beds,
Yeah.
and I ended up selling out within 3 days, and I ended up buying some more just to have one hand.
Yeah.
But I sold 30 beds in 2 days.
There you go.
And
There you go.
it was because I had the idea from my sisters.
Yeah.
It wasn't. I had no idea to sell a surprise. I'm like, what is this surprise been? I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I love
But
that.
talking it out with my sisters, that has
Mm,
really been, key to my success.
yeah. So would you say, because marketing is very interesting. People sometimes think like, hey, I'm just going to stick out the flyers or stick out the ads or stick out the whatever, and I'm just going to get students, right? And in some cases, that's 100% true. That we've seen many all-stars do that, right? In other cases, maybe they didn't do the flyer right, or they did something different, or just whatever it is, or they did it correctly and it didn't turn out the way it maybe they had expected, because
Like me.
honestly it's a game. Like, you just keep putting out more stuff and eventually some of it's going to stick. But for you, do you think that it also has to do with your headspace? And
Absolutely.
yeah, so speak to that.
Absolutely. I cried to Joy. I said, Joy, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? You know, I have all of these, all of these likes on my posts, and I know people see them because I see the
Yeah.
likes. So
Yeah.
I know they're out there,
Hmm.
but they're not converting. But it wasn't until I was happy and I started to think, wow, like I, I before I kept moving the marker. So,
Mm,
I was basing my life on the achievements. Okay, I
yes.
got this one student. Okay, now I have one. Now I need to get two. Now and it kept moving. So I was never
Yeah.
satisfied
Right.
with what I was achieving.
Yeah.
And I started to feel grateful. I said, you know what? It was something that you said that, when you have that one child, that parent doesn't care about the other children. They care about their child. And
Yes.
I thought about that. That really stuck with me.
Yeah.
And as a mom, I totally get it. It's nice for my children to have, other students in the class. But that student, she was so happy to see me every time, every Tuesday and Thursday.
Oh,
She was happy to see me. Her
yeah.
parents were happy that I was showing up. And I even gave her a free reading class because she was ready to read. So
Yeah.
on Wednesdays, I gave her a separate reading lesson for free because I was just so I love her. And
Yeah.
soon I'll be getting her
Totally.
little brother.
Yeah.
So but he's only 2. So we're waiting, and
Yeah.
now she's
Right.
yeah, she's in kindergarten now, and
Yeah.
her family is still in contact with me. They've been to my house because they live in Georgia too,
Yeah.
and we now we're a family, and it's all because I changed who I was up here, and
Love
everything
that.
now is just falling into place.
Yeah.
And I know you probably don't want me to get into the Phoenix journey, but the Phoenix journey is not only for yourself, but it helps you in your business.
Yeah.
And you can go through the journey 2-3 times. I've been through it twice already.
Yeah.
So we did it in person, and then I've gone through it again afterwards. And I realized also with the tracking that I start to feel like these feelings of unworthiness around my cycle. And it was because of
Mm.
tracking, and I don't know why that is, but it's something about the hormones.
Yeah.
So now when it happens, I can think to myself, okay, this is just hormones. This is not your reality. This and the feelings will pass.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that journal is amazing. So
Yeah.
once you get there to the Phoenix journey, go through the Phoenix journey because it will help you in your relationships too. It will help you with your children if you have
Mm.
children, if you're with your husband. You start to figure out how to work better with the people around you, and it's just better. It
Yeah.
really is just better.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. And it's okay that you spoke about it, because that is truly what changed you, to be
It
able
is.
to Oh, I'm sorry, it didn't change you. You changed yourself after going through it. For anybody who's wondering, Phoenix Journey is something you'll learn about later. It's another program we created this summer, and it's absolutely life-changing, but you'll learn about it later. If anyone is on the fence, Terri, about joining All Stars, I mean, I know you're a big sis star. I know you're the biggest cheerleader in the All Star community. So, like, what would you say to them?
Well, before that, I did read some comments in the free group about not having the money to continue, that they were just going to take the challenge and see what they can get from it.
Sure.
When you have your faith, and I know it seemed like this far out thing, but there were times that financially I didn't think that I was going to be able to continue, and the
Mm.
money would just come. And one of those times I ended up winning a free year. So I don't have to pay until 2024 sometime. And that was a blessing. You know, I didn't
Yes.
know how I was going to continue on. And I asked God, I said, what is going to happen for me?
Yeah.
And I ended up I never win anything. I never win any contests. I
You come
never
into my world, people win all the time.
I I never win anything. And when I saw my name, I
Yeah.
said, "Oh my goodness." So this it was meant for me to be here. So if
Yes.
it is meant for you to be here, and
Yes.
just you have to put your mind to it. But if you focus on the worry, if you focus on the finances, then you're going to repel all the good stuff away. You
Yeah.
have to find your happy place, and my happy place is being with my kids. I'm able to start my day when I want. It's not perfect, but I'm able to, go to my son's field trips. You
Mhm.
know, my little kindergartner, he's on the honor roll. I'm able to go to his honor roll ceremony.
Yeah.
You know, I can live my life. My work doesn't dictate my life anymore.
Right.
And I'm happy about having preschool all stars, because when I feel down or when I need to bounce ideas off of, is always somebody there.
Yeah.
So if you're on the fence, you need help. You need people.
That's
And
exactly the people who should be in there is like those who are on the fence, like, you need to be here more than anyone.
yeah, you would think that is like, sometimes I have to think, wow, did I drink the Kool-Aid because it's just so good in here? But no, it really is. You know, I don't ever plan on leaving, because it
Yeah.
just keeps getting better and better and better. And the community is just, it's the best community out there.
Yeah.
When I went to Phoenix, I met my family. You know, I fit in with these people. You know, these women, they're phenomenal, and I love them. And you
Yeah.
know, I check up on them and they check up on me. And you know, there is no distance. There is
Yeah.
no distance. I
Mhm.
love my sisters.
Yeah. Well, you're awesome, Terri. We love you. And is there any last words you'd say?
Come on, join us.
There
Join us.
you
It's
go.
gonna be so much fun.
Awesome. Well, Terri, thanks so much for being here, Fred. We'll see you soon.
Alrighty.